Welcome. Yeah, print FEAC, doing things for sure. What is up, guys? Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and if you want to send me a tip, it is the pinned comment in the chat. But yeah, the title of the stream is Volatility Ahead for the Stock Market and Bitcoin ? And before I get into all the stocks and the things we normally go over in chat requests, I want to just go over the general market, looking at the index, the volatility, stuff like that, then take a quick look at another thing for Bitcoin. So just to get things started, looking at futures, they're up a little bit, barely anything, kind of flat. So not too much there, but if we take a look at the S&P, it's at all-time highs pretty much, super high. The 4-hour kind of has classic bearish divergence on the S&P 500, where both on your RSI and MACD, you made a lower level of positive momentum, but on higher prices, which is bearish. So as you see, the price is going up, but the MACD, from this island to this one is going down. So just take caution with that. The last time we saw that was right over here, and it went from 35.41 to 32.33. So definitely take caution. Not certain, just something I'm noticing, and it could be canceled out because it's not confirmed yet. And then on the flip side, if you look at the volatility index, it's just been crushed. If you want to look at it like a falling wedge, sure. We were looking at it on stream last night. I think it was on the daily potentially. But yeah, if you want to look at the volatility index like a falling wedge, go for it. That is a bullish pattern. And you have triple bullish divergence on the MACD and on the RSI. I don't really know if technicals work for the volatility index, but that's just something I wanted to note. Just keep that in mind. I don't know if my music is too loud right now. If the audio is a little bit off, just let me know and I'll change the stuff up. But yeah, the S&P is going up while the volatility index is going down. At some point, that is going to flip, where the volatility will go up and the S&P will go down, just like the rest of the indexes. The question is just, when will that happen? Nobody knows. It is impossible to know, but you can use probability to predict it. And in my opinion, either we're going to see a very volatile day tomorrow or sometime next week, just based on what the indexes are doing, what the volatility index is doing, unless you get the volatility index under 21 and you get like a candle close under it. Because if you get under 21, then there's like a gap fill to 18, but again, does that really matter on the volatility index? Just a lot of questions that nobody has the answer to. So when things like that happen, and when the volatility index is at the same level it was right before the COVID crash, things are definitely, up in the air. So I just want to, before we even get into the stocks, I just want everybody to understand that if the general market conditions are not safe, most stocks won't be either way. And I'm not calling a crash. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have no clue. This could continue. And if you're only looking at the S&P without the oscillators, it's at an all-time high, which on most charts is technically, a good thing. It just means everything is strong. But if you really get into like the factors underneath it, like the oscillators, like the COVID cases going up, like the political uncertainty, just a whole entire list of things, there's for sure factors that could easily lead to volatility. So that's just a major question. And then, in terms of Bitcoin, which is also in the stream title, the technicals look fine, but it's at a super high level. It's went up 80% since my buy call. It's right around all-time highs, like 2% away or something like that. So this could, it is the make or break area. So it could be the place where Bitcoin skyrockets further, or it could be a major reversal area. And, we're just seeing the stock market and Bitcoin be very flat, yesterday and today in terms of the indexes and Bitcoin itself. And I just don't think it's going to last. I think we're going to see a violent move to the downside or the upside soon. And that's just, that's my opinion. We're going to see, unless, the uncertainty and all those factors don't matter. And, certain factors like stimulus come into play where it could let things continue how they are. So there's just a lot of things to look out for. But yeah, that's just how I wanted to start off the stream just before we get into anything else. Went live about 35 minutes early tonight, so not my usual time. Just got some stuff to do that I would normally not be doing at stream time, so I just want to be prepared for that. But hit that like button if you support the free analysis. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Just helps to grow the stream. And if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description and the pinned comment in the chat. Now let's move on to Fisker. Let's see what's up with that. Interesting. So after hours, it did go up to 1750, I think a little bit higher maybe. But it's just really a 50-50, in terms of like the bearish scenario. You still have the bearish divergence on the MACD, and you technically closed at under 1750, which was the support like literally the whole entire day. So that's what you have going for the bears. In terms of the bulls, you have confirmed 1 hour hidden bullish divergence, and you kind of broke out of this, but does a 1 hour channel really matter? I don't know. And then again, it's like waning here, so it can go either way. It can fall tomorrow because it closed under 1750, even though it is back over it after hours. We're just gonna have to see. Remember, you don't have to know what is going to happen to make money. You just need to be able to react properly. So if you see, it's really failing to get over 1750 in the morning, take caution. If you see it has a nice run over 1750, closes, an hourly candle over 1750, breaks the VWAP, and the MACD starts moving up, then it could be set for the, for the bounce. And you did have a, pretty nasty drop down from like almost $24 to at one point $16. So you lost a lot of the value. And I do think that the uptrend in the long term will continue. The question is just what's going to happen in the short term. That's a coin flip. But it's a good coin flip because no matter how the coin flips, we will know how to react to that situation. That's the good part about Fisker. You have something to work with for both the bulls and the bears, which is what I just went over. In terms of today, in the morning you opened up and then fell down after that, but then you found support at 1750, which I posted on my Twitter. If you're not following me there, definitely should be if you want live updates. I called the Fisker support for most of the day. I called the PIC bounce, which we will go over next, and also the bounce on TTCF, which is like the latest trade setup I've put out. So some good calls, just using technical analysis, and hopefully that helped people out. Appreciate the support, Ajit, and what's up, Christian, Al, Print. But yeah, that's Fisker. Now we're gonna move on to PIC. After that, Joanne, we will go to Tattooed Chef. PIC. Yeah, the whole story is on the 1 hour. 4 hour, not too much has changed. Your support is 1354 and your resistance is 1471. You found support at 1354 today, and you found resistance at 1471 today, which is what I showed last night on stream, so that also played out perfectly. But yeah, PIC, again, you had this 1 hour hidden bullish divergence just like Fisker did. They both looked very similar at open today, and they both did very similar things where, you know, they opened a little bit higher, like a small gap up, and then they fell down, and then they found a bounce, and then they were flat pretty much the rest of the day, except PIC went up pretty decently after hours, and Fisker just went up a little bit after hours. But yeah, I mean, it could be argued that the hidden bullish divergence already played out, and that's just what happens when you're looking at divergences on the 1 hour. Since you're looking at a low time frame, they can play out very fast. As we saw on both the Fisker and the PIC MACD, you got that green on the MACD, but it's already going down. So PIC and Fisker very similar. They had a crazy run up around the same time. Now they both have been pulling back down quite a bit. Then they created channels on the 1 hour with hidden bullish divergence. But on the 4 hour, both of their MACDs, you know, look kind of ugly. So Fisker and PIC are very correlated right now. They move together, you know, quite closely. So just keep that in mind. There is no bearish divergence, but you could just get like a general MACD crossover on the 4 hour. So again, Fisker and PIC in the short term, both are a coin flip, but we know the levels on the chart. This is what I'm trying to teach here. Since we know the levels on the chart, we can react to either scenario. We know the support places if it goes down, and we know the resistance places if it goes up. And that's the beauty of technical analysis, where you don't have to be gambling and just guessing. You can be fine with whatever scenario happens, and you can make a decision based off that. So that is Fisker and PIC. Now let's go take a look at Tattooed Chef, which in my opinion, in terms of the technicals, had a great day. Obviously in terms of the price, had an okay day, up 1.62%, went up just a little bit after hours. Not too crazy there. But TTCF, I think I posted it yesterday morning, and then we went over it on stream last night, but there was a lot of technical difficulties last night on stream, so I had to take down the stream. But yeah, TTCF, really like what it's doing. Again, nothing is ever certain. Just because I like what it's doing doesn't mean it will play out how I think it could. The market doesn't care what I think. I'm just trying to care about what the market thinks. Keep that in mind. All right, that's what technical analysis is all about. But yeah, you had falling wedge. You broke out of it. You broke out of the falling wedge. You also broke the 200-day moving average. And then you ran up to 16. And I tweeted out that 16 would be a resistance on TTCF before it even hit 16. And then 16 was the high of the day for TTCF. So again, just another one where if you're following me on Twitter, you get those live updates where I can help you out intraday, not only, you know, at night. So definitely follow me on Twitter. It's in the bottom left of your screen at Champion Vibe. But yeah, broke out of the falling wedge, you know, found some resistance at 16. So now your resistance is $16. Your support, you have two supports in terms of the short term. Thank you for the $369 donation. Champion Vibe is the best. Really appreciate it. I will look at the ticker. I'm just going to finish this really quick. So yeah, your support now is the falling wedge supply line, this green down sloping line, and the 200-day moving average. But just again, before I move on to the chat, the ticker request, remember, after the bullish pin bar and bullish engulfing candle, you had a good day today. Very similar to what Baba did. You had a bullish pin bar and bullish engulfing candle right here, and then had a 10% run after. So just comparing charts to each other, not certainty, just probability, and that is TTCF. Now we're going to go look at the donation. Again, for the newer people in here, any tip $3 or higher, I will look at it immediately, just as like a thank you for, you know, supporting the stream. So the request from Champion Vibes is the best is INX. We're going to take a look at that. But yeah, guys, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 20 likes. We got 32 people in here. We got 11 likes. That means a lot of you have not hit that like button. So if that's you, just make sure to hit that like button. Really, you know, helps out the stream. And if you're not subscribed already, definitely consider it. Hit that subscribe button. But yeah, this is a very weird looking chart. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Technical analysis probably would not work on this just because look at that. I mean, I don't know if this is like a new company, but you know, it's 7 cents. It's an OTC stock. I know there's been a lot of people trading them lately. So it's definitely a little bit strange. What I'm going to do right now is fix my audio. because the music went out. I don't know why it does this, but I know how to fix it. So let's see if I can get it to work. All right, there we go. All right, let me know if the music is too loud. I just kind of guessed where the volume should be at. I think it should be good though. Let me know if you hear the music and let me know if it's too loud, or if it's completely fine, then you don't have to say anything. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I guess I'll try and do what I would do in a normal stock, but keep in mind that the probability is automatically lower just because the market is different. When you're trading in a different market, the technicals work different, and I just don't, I spend most of my time analyzing stocks and cryptos, and although this is a stock, it's just traded very differently, with its value, with being an OTC, stuff like that. So if I was looking at this as something normal, let's see what it has. Interesting. The first thing I'm going to do is use Fibonacci, see what retrace it is at. It bounced off a 7.786 retrace. Now it's in the golden zone, but that's not really where it bounced. You had a MACD crossover to the red on the 4-hour. No divergence. On the daily, it could be argued that there is a potential for classic bearish divergence if the daily MACD crosses over to red, so keep an eye on that. Sorry, I was just looking at my other screen. But yeah, I mean, there's not much of an edge. I could probably give you a support and resistance, but the issue is with how volatile this thing is, the support and resistance don't really matter, simply because your support is 2 cents and your resistance is 12 cents. So there's no way to properly manage your risk. So I'm just going to be completely honest. Thank you for the tip, but this is not really a ticker in which technical analysis can provide you a major edge. Yeah, appreciate the 3. We got some stuff in the chat. Don't go over LAZR. They had their run. I heard a lot about LAZR on Twitter. If the chart is just a straight line up, I'm not going to be able to do anything. There's no technical analysis you can do when a chart is just a straight line up. You need a pattern, you need divergence, you need support and resistances that make sense in a period of consolidation before those massive runs up. So if it is a straight line up, there's nothing I can do. Literally nothing I can do here. Appreciate the request in the chat, but congrats to those who were in. If you were requesting it right here, maybe I could have given you something, but just nothing I can do there in terms of technical analysis. What is up, KP, Justin, Borge? Yeah, I have a COD league. First match in the league is actually taking place tonight, which is why the stream is going to be ending a little bit earlier, but that's also why I started the stream earlier tonight. So yeah, how was the Hexo chart? Going into tomorrow's house vote. I think this is another one where it's like a straight line up, guys. A lot of people here are new, but there's not much I can do on straight line up charts. This one definitely has more that I can do with. I've been saying this for a couple of days now. I've been looking at it since like Tuesday. Your support is 109 and your resistance is 122. It's as simple as that. You don't have divergence, you don't have a pattern. You just have a support and resistance. And whichever way it breaks to with confirmation could be pretty telling. If it breaks to the upside, good probability of it continuing the uptrend. If it falls under 109 with confirmation, good probability of it falling back down. Super simple. If you want one more support, I see one at 84 cents. So that is Hexo. But yeah, in terms of the vote tomorrow, I put out like a tweet about it. I'm not too educated on how stuff like that works, in politics, but I think it is interesting. I was reading an article that said, there's a low chance of it even getting passed. So my question that I asked on Twitter was like, how would that affect things? And then I got some answers, some people saying different things that, made sense. We're just going to have to see. Remember, don't expect react. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. It could be a catalyst. No clue. There is no way to know what's going to happen, so you just need to be able to react. Unless you want to gamble, then you do you. That's just not what I do, and it's not what I'm trying to teach. But yeah, I mean, if we just look at, weed stocks, a lot of them have been crushed. Tilray, if you haven't been around for a while, I posted a trade on Tilray. I called the local bottom at 673 and I called the top at 961 perfectly. Perfect trade. It was like 40% profit. And yeah, that was awesome. I think that was last week where it happened. Kind of. But yeah, Tilray, perfect trade. Now it's bouncing up again, and probably, you know, the fundamentals and the catalysts in the short term matter more than the technicals for Tilray with everything going on. But that was a great trade on Tilray that I put out on Twitter. If you're not following me there and you want 40% profit trades, follow me on Twitter. Another thing that, you know, a lot of people have been looking at is the cup and handle on ACB. Again, it is a valid cup and handle, but the technicals currently just don't matter more than the catalyst of the vote tomorrow. So, you know, I always talk about timing. There's times when technical analysis matters more than anything else, just because there's no news to work off of, so the only edge you have is technical analysis. But on the flip side, there's times where technical analysis does not matter as much for the prices of stocks. That's when the fundamentals come into play. So yeah, I mean, if we look at the 4 hour, you for sure could call it a cup and handle. There's your rounding bottom, and then technically it kind of looks like you're breaking out of your handle. You're above the 200-day moving average. This stock, like most of the other wheat stocks, got crushed, so they do have a lot of room to run, but they're already up so much in the short term. Just so many different variables that make it hard to tell, you know, with a high probability. So we'll just have to see. That's really it. What else we got in the chat? I already talked about Tattooed Chef RC Crown. That was like the third thing I went over. So just scroll back a bit and you will see it. CRM. And I will take a look at Fossil Owl. Yeah, guys, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 20 likes. We need 2 more people to hit the like. And if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. And then finally, if you want to send me a tip, it is the pinned comment in the chat. Did CRM fill the gap? I know they had like bad earnings or something. It did fill the gap to the downside. There is a gap to 241 and 28 cents. No divergence on the 4 hour. No divergence on the daily. And obviously no pattern with the drop down like that. So I'm just gonna, you know, chart different levels, stuff like that. Sorry, it's just taking me a while because I'm zoomed out. What else? So yeah, this is pretty much all I can do on CRM. Your support is 215 and 76 cents, just because that was your low, you know, from this drawdown or drop down. Then your resistances are 229, which was your support right here, and then there is a gap fill to 241.28. No divergence. It is slightly oversold, but I usually don't use RSI alone, so it doesn't matter too much. Just another coin flip. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe there's an edge on the 1 hour. No edge on the 1 hour either. So interesting. I mean, it gapped up and then it filled the gap. No pattern. Not much I can do there. That is CRM. Plug. I'm pretty sure that's another high flyer. Not a lot of technical analysis you can do on charts that just are a straight line up. But this one does have like a drop down and stuff, so maybe we could do something with Plug. Just don't know. And delete this. Let's see what Fibonacci retrace you are at. So you're not really at any Fibonacci retrace right now, just kind of in between the 236 and 382. No divergence on the 4 hour, no divergence on the daily. Your support is 21.88 and your resistance, honestly, that's a pretty crappy resistance line. Probably something like that. 27.03 would probably be your major resistance area. But yeah, that's Plug. Again, I'm just going to be running, you know, through the ones that don't have much of an edge rather quickly, just for time concerns, but also because I can't do much on the chart. NNDM, sure. Yeah, I mean, you have two different gaps to fill, which are the orange horizontal lines. So keep those gaps in mind. If you want to look at Fibonacci targets, your 1618 is at 835. No divergence on the 4-hour, no divergence on the daily. That is NNDM. VMW suits up with VMware. Interesting, I have looked at this before. Just kind of in this range where the support is 135 and the resistance is 149. Over the 200-day moving average, no divergence on the daily and no divergence on the 4-hour. If you want to look at you know, a support level in the short term, you're right over one, which is 139 and 61 cents. I do like how the MACD is moving back towards green. So yeah, I mean, it's also kind of in the bottom range of the channel with the 200-day under it. So I wouldn't like put out like a buy signal on this or anything, but just slightly bullish in my opinion. AVCT, thank you for the $5 donation, Josh. Appreciate it. I cannot have lyrics, so let me find some other stuff to listen to. Okay. So that was VMW. Now we're gonna look at AVCT. Appreciate the donation. Weird beat for sure. It's interesting for sure. So right off the bat, your support is 443, your resistance is 516, which unfortunately you closed under. The candles on this chart are super weird. The volume is, you know, very minimal. Yeah, super low volume. So when you have things with candles like this, where there's like 3,000 gaps and the volume's low, just keep in mind the technicals automatically have a lower probability. Where the technicals work best is on stocks that have, you know, real candles, low gaps, high volume, pattern creation, not really, you know, pump and dump stocks. It does work, but you just have to keep those things in mind. Technical analysis really was made for stable markets and stocks. It wasn't made for, you know, crazy, you know, high flyers, gap filled, low volume things. I'm just being honest. So yeah, that's your support and your resistance. You don't have divergence on the 4-hour and no divergence on the daily. So not much of an edge, except, you know, this range right here, 443 to the moving average, like 443 to 460 could very well be a bounce area. Pretty decent support there. And if you ever break 416, you could be headed to like 560. I mean, if you ever break 516, you could be headed to like 560. So that's the most I can give you on AVCT. Thank you for the donation. Sure, we can look at MRO, Marathon. Didn't they have like a crazy day today? Yeah. Oh no, they only went up 2%. So I was thinking of something else, I guess. I think it was Mara and Riot. Wasn't it like Mara and Riot that had really good days today? So yeah, pretty interesting. You're right at like a resistance area. Like literally to the cent. You're on the resistance. As you can see, $6.19 was resistance pretty much all throughout May, and then in August. Now you're just testing that again after a big run up. You have the 200-day moving average under you. So resistance to break, obviously you have to break 619, which you're currently at. If you do break that, you still need to break $6.62. If you break 662, I mean, you're talking about a gap fill to, and this is on the daily, so it's like a real gap, to $7.10. If you can really break 662, was it? Yeah, if you can break like 662, there's the gap fill to $7.10. In terms of your support, you have the 200-day moving average, and not much aside from that. MACD doesn't look great at all. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. What just happened? All right. So yeah, that's MRO. DraftKings. Right here. Hey guys, keep hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. You want to send me a donation? It is the pinned comment in the chat. Appreciate the 20 likes. So DraftKings had a head and shoulders I warned about at 48, then fell down at 35. It had classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and hidden bullish divergence on the daily when it was $35. And since then it's been running up. Put out a buy signal at 39. It's been having a nice run since then. So just kind of looks like it's in a upsloping channel. Oh, that's a perfect channel on DraftKings. I really like how this channel looks. This is your pattern, super simple. You don't have divergence on the 4-hour and you don't have divergence on the daily. Yeah, no divergence on the daily. Again, up 33% since when I posted it. And then it found resistance at around 52. Never filled the gap to 55.81. So you do have a support at $48.30. But even at that point, you'd be breaking out of the upsloping channel to the downside. So super simple, you're just in this channel. It will continue to go up until it breaks out of the channel. When it breaks out of the channel with confirmation on the daily, take caution. But yeah, DraftKings, don't want to overcomplicate anything. You know what I'm saying? If things don't need to be overcomplicated, you just show the chart and then, you know, either continues the trend or it doesn't. So there are charts where I have to, you know, really break it down and look for a lot of different things. But on stuff like this, it just makes it super simple, which I do like. But not much of an edge aside from the uptrend continuation within the upsloping channel. That is DraftKings. Let's get some more ticker requests in the chat. Keep dropping stuff. 55.81 looks like the top of the channel. Yeah, and that's also a gap fill, so that could definitely be a target. Certainly. Let's see some tickers going. Let's look through some stuff. CRM, we already looked at CRM. You can scroll back a little bit. Oh, for sure, we're going to look at Nvidia print. All right. And we can take a look at Ethereum as well. Nvidia. I like the chart. I like what Nvidia is doing, if I'm being honest. So you have this upsloping demand line, right? And what it kind of looks like is this at the very early stages of an ascending triangle, and that is a bullish continuation pattern. But again, I'm looking at the daily and it looks like the pattern is just starting. So that means this could literally take months to even break out. Not that it's super far away from breaking out or anything like that. It's just look at how slowly it's inching up and creating higher lows with the same sell wall. It's not a perfect ascending triangle. You have these two peaks, and then you almost went up to 581 on this run. But yeah, I mean, just looks like at a very early stage of a bullish continuation pattern. If you ever break this upsloping demand line, take caution. What I really do like is the MACD, where you have a bullish convergence. Just means both the price and the MACD are going up at the same time. So that's not like super bullish, like bullish divergence, but it's okay. Definitely better than, you know, being in the red. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Again, super simple chart, just creating higher lows with, you know, the 581 to 590 sell wall. If you ever break 590, you know, who knows what could be next. But that is Nvidia. Then we're going to look at Ethereum, see what's up with that. And it's interesting. It probably just depends on Bitcoin, whatever Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin falls at, you know, a really high level, take caution. If it breaks, you know, all-time highs, Ethereum will probably run as well. Thank you for the $3 donation, Dennis. Really appreciate it. But Ethereum, I don't know if you could create like a proper demand line off of this, but you obviously have a very clear resistance, which would just be like right here. Let me pull the rectangle tool out. This is your resistance on Ethereum. If you ever break this level, we're gonna have to look back in history and see what could be next. So I'm on the daily. We're gonna scroll back, see if there's any data. Yeah, I mean, if you break 625 to 636, if you break out of that little range right there, this thing is probably, you know, going at much higher prices. I don't know if it will reach 827. It depends on what Bitcoin is doing. But if Bitcoin breaks to a new all-time high over $20,000, there is very minimal resistance on Ethereum after 636. So if Bitcoin is at an all-time high and Ethereum is over 636, you know, it could see very high runs up in prices very fast. But that is an if. We don't know if it's going to happen. And it could even potentially like triple top right here. Probably see that better on the 4 hour. Where not one, not two, but 3 different times you have not been able to break 625. So I don't know. It's either like it somehow breaks this you know, sell level, or it could be headed back down to much lower prices like 519. But if I'm being honest, now that I really look at it, I'm gonna ask you guys, okay, what does this pattern look like to you guys? I did go over Fisker. It was definitely in the beginning of the stream. What's up, Chris? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. You're looking at a chart right now. We've been going over a lot of these patterns lately. Does anybody know what this pattern could be? Just guess. And Punk Zilla 10 got it. Cup and handle looks pretty decent. So maybe that could get you above $636. Let me chart that really fast. So this would be your cup. Yep, cup and handle. This would be your cup. Your handle would have been something like this, probably. So broke out of the handle as well. But yeah, you had the cup, then you know, had like a little bull flag over here, whatever you want to call it, cup and handle, broke out. So it has a bullish pattern. Maybe that can help it get above 636, but it depends on Bitcoin. And if it can't break this level, it could turn into a triple top. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. Either cup and handle helps you break out of 636, or a potential triple top sends you back down to 519 eventually, or something like that. It could, you know, might not fall all the way down there, and it still depends on Bitcoin. But yeah, definitely some things to work with on Ethereum. What else we got here? I do see the double top is just like, you know, it was falling down, but then it pivoted again. So maybe you could call that a cup and handle. That's a decently common thing where if in a potential double top pattern, you made a rounding bottom between the two highs and you don't really fall all the way down to the neckline, you could create a cup and handle off of that. I have seen it a few times. Not the most common thing, but you're currently seeing it potentially on Ethereum. Oh yeah, we can take a look at Ebon. I've been looking at it. I wanted to day trade it today, but I just didn't. You know, it did have a almost 12% day. So what happened here? So Ebon, I think we looked at it last night on stream, but last night's stream got taken out. But yeah, it broke back over 453, which was a very critical level. As you can see, that was support over here in August. And then it just became resistance over here, but it broke over it, closed over it. And it, you know, it went up from $4 to $4.80 at one point. If you take a look at the 1 hour, there was classic bullish divergence on both the MACD and RSI on Ebon. So I think that is why it did go up. I don't see any other reason for it to. But yeah, you were going down in price as both the MACD and the RSI were going up, which implies a reversal to the upside, classic bullish divergence, and that's exactly what you got, a 12% move. We were literally talking about this classic bullish divergence on stream last night, It's just there was a lot of technical difficulties and the stream crashed, so I couldn't upload the playback. But yeah, that is Ebon. Let's get some more tickers in the chat. Keep hitting that like button, guys, if you have not already. Just helps grow the channel. Hit that subscribe button, and if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description and pinned comment in the chat. But yeah, just keep it going. Tilray or ACB, I actually looked at both of them earlier in the stream, Travis. You're gonna have to scroll back and find it. Otherwise, after I'm done streaming, you will be able to come back to the video and I post all the timestamps as the pinned comment. Just give me like 10 minutes after the video's up and you'll see my comment. Yeah, let's look at DocuSign for sure. Again, for the new people coming in, we just got some more people coming in at the normal stream time. So I went live earlier tonight, just because I have to sign out a little bit earlier. Probably in like half an hour I'll end the stream. But went live a little bit earlier tonight, and now at the normal stream time at 9:45, we're seeing much more people come in. So I think that's actually a good thing, because people are coming in at the regular stream time, which means that we're really creating this this nightly thing where we're here on time. I know I was a little bit early, but appreciate the new people in here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Good day for TTCF. I think it's looking good if the market can hold up. And the Fisker and PIC calls today were great as well. Just going over other things in the chat. But DocuSign, I need to change to the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, running for sure. Had a 6% day today, and it's just right at a resistance. I've had this resistance charted for a while, and it ran up to it. It bounced off 198. I'm probably gonna delete that now, but your major support is 189. I don't think you're gonna see it super soon, but you probably will see it eventually, unless it just keeps on running, which who knows. Not much of a pattern, just more of like a range, or like a complex range where you have multiple resistances. So yeah, I mean, your major support is 189. If you want a short-term support, probably right here. Gonna make that a green line. And then your short-term resistance is the 230.52 gap fill, which got filled today. Now it's back testing it. So you saw that it broke out, and then it's back testing it, and it's also right above the VWAP. So if it can have like a good green candle for the first 4-hour candle tomorrow, there's a decent probability of seeing 245 again. The risk is just it closes a candle under 230, and if it does close a candle under 230, just take caution. But that is Docu. I think we looked at MDRR XNet. See what's up with that. Again, it's just super low volume. There's not much I can do on this chart. Just traded very differently than most stocks, and just really pumpy dumpy. So I don't know. There's not, I don't want to lie and just say things that have low probability. So not much I can do there. Yeah, let's take a look at Apple. It was pretty flat today, didn't move much. I put out the Apple trade on Sunday night, and since then it went up like 5%. So again, the main trade is the long-term trade. It pretty much already hit the target for the short term, like 1% below it. But yeah, it's just finding resistance in this general resistance area of like 124. And it still looks completely fine. On the 4-hour, you had the bullish convergence. Definitely there could be something that could pull it back down to maybe retest this white previous supply line, could become a demand line. But one thing I am noticing is there's a potential for classic bearish divergence, but it's not even nearly confirmed. If you have any green days on Apple, it'll probably be canceled out. But if the MACD ever does cross back over to red, you'll have classic bearish divergence where the MACD from this island to this island went down while the price was going up. So it means you're at higher prices with lower momentum, which is bearish. But again, it doesn't confirm until the MACD turns red, or until you get like a MACD crossover, like right here. And yes, Apple resistance at 124, like 125 in that area. If you break 125 with confirmation, the next target is like an all-time high at 137.90. Super simple. This could be a profit-taking area if you were in for the short-term 8% trade. I know a lot of people were in for the short-term trade, but they played it with call options. Had a lot of people telling me they made like 200, 300% off of the Apple call options after I posted the trade setup, so that's awesome to hear. Do take some caution. You're at a resistance area with potential classic bearish divergence, so you're just hoping that you break this resistance and the bearish divergence never confirms. But that is Apple. See, I'm liking the request we're getting right now. The request before, honestly, not much I can do with stocks that just have a straight line up and down and have super low volume. Or things like Apple, Overstock, HYLN. These are things I put out trade setups for, and these are things that technical analysis does work well on. So my voice is being weird, I don't know why, that's why I'm just having water. But yeah, that's Apple. Now let's go to, we're gonna go with HYLN first, and then we're gonna move on to Overstock, which was another 20% trade I put out. I think it was the week before last week. Yeah, HYLN, it's at a do or die area. Oh, thank you for the $10 donation, Ajit. We're gonna have to come back to HYLN and Overstock. I just want to get through the donation request, so appreciate the $10. Again, guys, any tip $3 or higher, I will look at a ticker right away for you. Obviously, he donated 10, so we're gonna look at 3 tickers for him. 3 times 3 is 9, but appreciate the $10. First one is APXT, so let's go over that. Apex Technology. Not much of an edge here, just a straight line up, now you're pulling back. If I had to do something on this chart, I'd use Fibonacci. Sure, you bounced off a golden retrace, that is good. Still a gap fill to 1125. So I don't know if that will fill. The MACD is also cooling off heavily. So it's either you bounce like literally tomorrow and you really do bounce off this golden retrace, or you could be headed to fill the gap. Don't want to overcomplicate it. Let's take a look at blue. Bellis Health. Interesting. So your support is 279. You're still well above that. And the real trade here was like the breakout of the 279 resistance, which is now your support. Obviously it went up to 331, did not hit the golden retrace, but it got close to hit the 50% retrace. In terms of like the short term, there's no edge on the 4 hour. I'll take a look at the daily and 1 hour. No edge on the daily either. And your resistances, major resistances are like 352 to 367. That could be a profit taking area in my opinion, not financial advice. But Bellis, I don't know how you would really look at this pattern. I do see like a downsloping resistance or supply line. I guess you could call it a descending triangle, whatever you want to label it as. But if you looked at it like this, you know what I'm saying? If you looked at it like that, and it kind of looks like a proper demand line where it really was respecting the upsloping support. Unfortunately, it looks like you broke out to the downside. So whether you look at it as a descending triangle or just a pennant like structure, it is moving back down towards 279. And if you create bullish divergence at 279, assuming it gets there, I think that would be where there's definitely more of an edge, just because of how many times 279 was resistance over here in July. So I think that's where the high probability trade could be. I don't think it's right here. Does not look good to me currently. Under the VWAP, broke out to the downside, and you have a decent amount of room till 279. So that is blue. And then GHIV. Let me take a look at that. I think that is a SPAC. I might be mistaken. Might be mixing it up with something. I think it is a SPAC, yeah. Pretty new chart. If I look at the 4 hours, probably gonna look different. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those SPACs at $10, finding support at $10, which is like the general redemption area for the shares and stuff. So the technicals probably don't matter much on this chart. What probably matters more than anything is if the company is good, if they have good plans, if they have catalysts and stuff like that. And then maybe after that you can get a run and then you'll create data on the chart. There's just not much data on the chart right now. If you really want me to do something with it, again, lower probability automatically just because of how the chart looks. It doesn't look like a normal chart does. $10.19 is like your resistance. What you would want to do is create or confirm a 4-hour or daily candle close over that. If you do that, you have a gap fill to $10.44. But again, those are not major moves at all. The short term, it could either do nothing for the next 2 months, or it could go crazy for the next 2 months, or it could fall. There's just no way to know. So what probably matters more is just, the catalyst and stuff like that. Just not much data on the chart. I wouldn't even call it a cup and handle because it just looks too weird. So, it went nuts in after hours. So yeah, I don't think it went nuts because of technicals. Either it's just people want to buy it for the future, or they had a catalyst. I have no clue. But yeah, thank you for the $10. Now let's move to what was I going over? HYLN. So HYLN is in a do or die area. Looks very similar to other SPACs like VLDR. Can you even tell that I changed the chart? Super similar chart. All right, let's look at another one. LCA. Can you even tell that I changed the chart? Super similar chart. The thing is, both LCA and VLDR, once they got back down to this level, as you can see, they had a run up and then they came back down to the same level. Both LCA and VLDR saw nice bounces, right? So they had the run up, then they came right back down, made a 100% retrace to the same exact level before the run up, and then they began a new run up. So that's, HYLN is just it's just at that step where it had the run up, now it's back down to the same exact level. So it is in a potential bounce area between 1854 and 1740. The reason I have 1740 here is because there is a gap to fill at 1740. So this is just like your support range on HYLN, and somehow, some way, it is going down in price, and the MACD is going up, and the RSI, I'm gonna actually take that off. It doesn't look too good. Currently it looked a little bit better yesterday, but certainly the price is going down and your MACD is going up, which is bullish divergence. It's just not confirmed yet. So HYLN, in my opinion, is super simple. This is not financial advice, but if I were to be playing HYLN, I would be buying it as close to like 1740 as possible within the screen range. And if it fell under 1740, I'd have a stop a couple percent under that, a few percent under that. And that would probably mean your bullish divergence got canceled out. So it would just be, you'd have to stop out, find something else. Not financial advice. But then if you compare this to things like VLDR and LCA, which had extremely similar charts, they both bounced at, the level, the 100% retrace. And what do I mean by 100% retrace? If I use Fibonacci and I go from the low over here to the high over here, these songs are just weird sometimes, I swear. As you can see, it came all the way back down. It passed all the Fibonacci lines and just went to 1, which means the same level that it was at before the run. So that's HYLN. Now we're going to look at, I think I said Overstock, right? Wiz Khalifa's all in OXT. The chart itself looks good, but obviously it depends on what Bitcoin does. Yeah, OXT, there's this upsloping demand line. You have support at 28 cents, and your resistance is like 31 cents. I know some people are looking at it like this, where it's just like simply like an unconventional pennant, and then you could argue that it already broke out. And if you look at it like this, I kind of like it because it broke out, and then look what it just did. It back tested the breakout, and then it bounced off the back test. So if you look at it like that, sure, it looks good. But again, Bitcoin is just at a make or break area. So if Bitcoin dumps, this will dump too. If Bitcoin makes the new all-time high, you'd assume that OXT would also go up in price. But that is OXT. I definitely see a major resistance at 35.40. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, the MACD looks pretty good too. The RSI, everything on the chart is just going up. It's creating an uptrend after a drop down. So as long as Bitcoin, stays fine, OXT looks bullish. That's the simplest way to put it. Overstock, right? So for those of you who were not around 2 weeks ago, Overstock was like one of my most famous trades. I don't know, a lot of people took that trade again. I'm not telling anybody to take my trades. It's just, I'm just putting them out, and if you want to do it and you want to take the liability of the risk, you can make that decision, because it's not financial advice, it's just my opinion. But if you want to follow my opinion, this was Overstock. I posted Overstock at $54. So let me pull out the price range, posted it at $54, and my target was $68. So from where I posted the buy signal on Overstock on Twitter, but I also went over it on stream, from that support to the target, it went up 26%. Great trade. It had a falling wedge. It had bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and RSI and on the daily MACD and RSI. It was a beautiful chart at the time. And it hit my target, went a little bit higher than my target, and then eventually pulled back down. And now look where it found support, at $61. Now, if you see over here, $61 was your resistance at one point. And it was also where you gapped down to. You gapped down from 66.60 to 61. But now you came back down to 61 and you bounced off of it. So that's pretty interesting. Your support, super simple, $61. And your resistance is like this area right here. This is like your resistance area on Overstock. So no divergence on the 4-hour anymore, and no divergence on the daily. If I'm being honest, you could argue that there's a decent probability of getting hidden bearish divergence. So hidden bearish divergence implies a continuation of the downtrend, and that would be confirmed if the MACD turned green. So that is Overstock. But yeah, let's go through some more chat requests. You want to look at Money Mike, Money Tyson. The fight on Saturday was great. Loved it. Obviously, it was a draw and stuff, but I think the fight itself was good, apart from like all the clinching. Just great to see, you know, Roy Jones and Mike Tyson in the ring. But yeah, guys, keep hitting that like button if you have not already. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's just that part of the stream where I start messing up my words because I've been talking for so long. But yeah, let's get some more tickers in the chat. Let me see what you guys want to look at. Oh yeah, FOSL. I said I would look at that. Apologies. Fossil group. On the daily, you know, obviously it just had a crazy run up. It just doubled in price pretty much. It more than doubled in price. So is it at a value area? In the short term, no. In the long term, it could be argued just based on how much it's down. But if I'm being honest, I don't like the macro trend. I don't like stocks where all they do in the course of their history is just drop down. I don't like that. It's not great in my opinion. And of course, you can trade it in the short term and make gains, like the gains from $6 to $12. Of course, you can make crazy gains, but just be careful if you're holding it for a while. What I don't like is how the price is going up, but the MACD is going down. It is kind of like classic bearish divergence. There isn't two islands to look at, but you get the point, where your price is up but your MACD is going down, very close to a MACD crossover. If you have a bad day tomorrow on Fossil, it could easily be the run. I mean, it could easily be the end of this run, just because you would have, you know, the MACD crossover, and because the price is so high with very little support. So tomorrow should be a very telling day. But on the flip side, if you have a good day tomorrow, you could cancel out the MACD from going to red, and your resistance would be the high of the rally, which is like 12.18 or something like that. So that's just off the top of my head. Don't really need to chart it. There isn't much to chart here. That's just what you have to look out for: the MACD and the 12.20 resistance, give or take. But that is Fossil. Wi-Fi is tanking right now. Just had a crazy run up. Should have it right here. Yeah, I would not say it's tanking. It's down 1.5%. I do see it dropping for sure. It is at the low of the day pretty much. But yeah, I mean, Wi-Fi, people, if you took the trade at 20,100, you just made crazy profits. Probably just profit taking after a crazy run up. Oh, I for sure want to look at Verizon. I posted it on Twitter today. Very interesting. Are you guys ready for this? This is Verizon. I posted it on my Twitter today. So if you want to get the real-time updates and stuff like that, you have to be following me on Twitter. Verizon broke a mega resistance today, okay? It had 4-hour hidden bullish divergence and a cup and handle that I showed on Twitter, and it broke 6140. Not only was that the neckline of the cup and handle, but get ready for this. This is probably the biggest resistance I've ever seen in my life. 6140, okay? I'm looking at the daily because that's how long this has been a resistance for. Look at this. Like, you don't see this very often. It failed to break 6140 on the daily time frame 6 different times. Verizon has not been able to break 6140 since ever. I mean, it kind of got over it just a little bit right here, but 6 times it has failed to break this since November 2018, and then today it broke it. So here's the thing, even though it did break it, you still would want to get above this little high just to really confirm it. That would be 6220. So I'm just going to chart this. If you got above that, then Verizon should be off to much higher prices. I mean, you have 5G rolling out, and you have the cup and handle and the hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. I posted this on Twitter today and it broke out. There is a gap fill to 60.75, so keep that in mind. Don't know if it'll get back down there, and if it does, take caution, because that would mean it was technically a failed breakout. But just for like education, like, this chart is great to look at. I don't know if it's gonna, really break this level. It failed to do it the last 6 times. It's inches above it. I really want to see it close multiple daily candles above $62 to confirm it. And if it does, you could easily see insanely higher prices on Verizon. Not financial advice, just my personal opinion. So yeah, I mean, there's a gap fill to 60.69. Keep that in mind. And yeah, that's Verizon. Cup and handle, hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, but at a steel wall of resistance. Gonna make that red. But yeah, I'll be looking at it. If it retests 6140 and finds some support there, might enter it. Just want to see how it opens tomorrow. And yeah, Shopify inverse head and shoulders. I think somebody said that on last night's stream. I just didn't see it. I get the idea of the inverse head and shoulders, and I even charted it last night, I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna use the brush here for time purposes, where that would be shoulder 1, this would be the head, this would be the right shoulder, and I get it, but does it really matter? I think the real thing to look at on Shopify is just, regardless of whatever this was, whether it was an inverse head and shoulders or if it was just a channel, okay, you could have just said it was a channel. Regardless of how you looked at it, what you really need to break on Shopify is this, like, I'm gonna make it red because you need to break it. Right, I did not mean to do that. All right, I'm gonna make this red so you get the point. But yeah, what you need to break on Shopify is this level right here. You break this level, and very similar to the Verizon chart I just went over, if you can break this level, you're probably gonna see much higher prices. The question is just, you really failed to break this level 3 times before. So, and then also the price is going up, but the MACD is going down. I'm not a huge fan of, when I see that. It's not textbook bearish divergence, but it's pretty much the psychology of it. The daily looks fine. The daily truly does look fine. So daily looks good, but the 4-hour looks kind of iffy. Also under the VWAP. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it yet. But, regardless, crazy run up the whole entire year on Shopify. And since 2018. So, it's been in a long-term uptrend. We'll see if it continues to do so. And until then, it's just, in my opinion, it's just in a range. I wouldn't call it an inverse head and shoulders, but I do get why people are seeing that. Just personal opinion. SCG. Again, guys, keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 40 likes. We need 4 more likes to get to 40. So if just 4 of you have not hit that like button, we'd really appreciate it if you could. And thank you guys for all the support lately. If this is what you requested, SCG, literally nothing I can do on this chart, and that's pretty obvious why. So I'm not going to be able to look at that, unfortunately. Yeah, it might not be on TradingView, but if that's what you want me to look at, nothing I can do there. One more like to 40. Really appreciate all the support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description and the pinned comment in the chat. And take a look at Vivo now. Datadog, that's D-Dog, right? Pretty sure. All right, Vivo. This is a very interesting chart for sure. I would not call it a textbook ascending triangle, but I do like how you know, you have the sell wall of $20 and you're just making higher lows. You're just getting more and more towards that sell wall over a long period of time. I do like that. You don't have any divergence. Maybe you could call it an inverse head and shoulders. Might look a little bit better on the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, I've seen inverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour for sure. So the pattern looks good. You just don't have much help aside from the pattern. So as you can see, that's your head, this is your right shoulder, and then I'll draw the neckline in a second. Thank you for the $6 donation, Guy in Hat. Really appreciate all the support. And yeah, this is your inverse head and shoulders on Vivo. If you can break $20, you could be headed to much higher prices. If you cannot break this green resistance line, there's a gap to fill at 1778, but that is Vivo. Let's see what the request was. Again, guys, for the new people in here, for every $3 you donate, I'll look at a ticker just as like a thank you. So for example, Ajit donated $10 and requested 3 tickers, so I took a look at that, or those 3, and then Guy in Hat, you know, dropped a $6 tip, really appreciate it, and requested PAVM and JRSH. So let's take a look at that. PAVM. And alright, so this playlist that I got in the stream, like some songs are pretty good, but some songs are just so bad, so I need to find a new one. Yeah, I just can't have any like music with lyrics in it because, you know, then you really can't hear what I'm saying, so it's just weird. But this is the first one, PAVM, and then the next one is JRSH. I think I have charted JRSH already. I don't know if I have. No, I have not. But right off the rip, I'm going to tell you, I can't chart this. There just isn't candles to chart here. So I hope you understand, probably obvious why, but technicals cannot do too much on JRSH. So we're going to take a look at PAVM. And pretty good. Not a big fan of the volume or anything, but could be reversing for sure. How would you even like, could that be a double bottom? It's interesting. There's so many ways you can look at it. You can call it a double bottom, you can call it a cup and handle, but I think the main, you know, point of this is you're over 192, which is the support. You're well over it. You're 1 cent above the 200-day moving average, and you do have some short-term resistance or turbulence at 210. If you can break 210, I mean, the next like major resistance I see is 250. So that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. I like it, whether you want to call it a double bottom or a cup and handle. I like how it's well above 192, and yeah, it looks pretty good. I like how it's over the 200-day moving average, but like by 1 cent. So you obviously want it to be well over the 200-day moving average for like real confirmation, because being 1 cent over the 200-day moving average really doesn't mean too much. So honestly, you just want to break 210. If you can break 210, you could go to 250. If you reverse at the 200-day moving average and this resistance area, you're probably just going to run back down to 192, which is a major support. But but that is PAVM. Thank you for the $6 tip. AMWL and Vroom. Yeah, we can take a look at those too. And where are they at? So AMWL and Vroom. AMWL, it was another trade setup that I put out. Dude, last week was crazy. I think we had like 8 or 9 of the trade setups I put out do like 15 to 20%. And then some of them went crazy. GameStop did like 80%. Not that it went up 80% last week, but since I talked about it on stream. And then the big one was, what was the name? Now I'm forgetting. Great. What was the... I'm just going to have to look at it. There's so many trades that I put out. There was one that went up 48%. And it was WTRH, yeah. Waiter Holdings. That was a crazy trade where I called the local bottom and the local top. Very similar to Tilray. So the trades have been crazy. This week was definitely not as insane as last week, but that's just, you know, market timing can't always be that crazy. But AMWL, another trade that I put out, was like right off of the gap fill. I took profits on this day when it popped over here. I took profits right there. 17% trade. The buy signal was at 2360, and it was just like inches under the target. So I did take profit in this area after I saw it just failed to break it. In terms of the short term, take caution because you have a very real potential of hidden bearish diversions. As you can see from right here to right here, it made a lower high, but on the MACD it made a higher high, which is bearish. But it's not confirmed. It would only confirm if the MACD turned to red. So yeah, your support on AMWL is 2490. It actually broke out of that and then back tested it, which I do like. But you know, this is a trade that already played out in the short term. And the long term, obviously the price got crushed. And if it can continue to hold $25, it can see much higher levels, like as you see on the chart right now. The question is just, you know, will it? Who knows? I took my profits. It's down, you know, 6% or so since I took my profit on it. I would say there's more of an edge at 2490. Currently, it's more of a coin flip, especially with the hidden bearish diversions on the 4-hour. If you look at the daily, there's not much of an edge there either. So yeah, your supports are 25 and 22. Your resistances are 28 and 31, 39. That is AMWL. Now we're going to take a look at Vroom. Cardiac says AMWL looks like 1, 2, 3 with the 4th Elliott wave just about to start. I mean, I'm not too educated on Elliott waves. I just really never got into them. I have respect for Elliott wave patterns. I've seen a lot of them play out. It's just personal preference. I don't really use them. I definitely get the psychology of them, like basically, you know, traders trading in waves, and you know, a lot of people use them. I just don't. I never really have used them, so I can't confirm that or not. That is AMWL. Now we're gonna take a look at Vroom, which was, you know, if you're being straightforward, it was a failed trade setup, but it was like a 2% failed trade setup. The buy was 37, and then I put out a warning saying it broke the support when it was like 35.80. So it was like a 2% loss on Vroom compared to the other crazy gains last week. But on the other side, after I posted it, it went to $39. So if somebody took profit there, then it was good for them. In terms of like the current situation on Vroom, it's at the make or break area. It could create a double bottom here if it reverses right here. So super simple on Vroom. Literally 2 scenarios, in my opinion, kind of obvious. Scenario 1 is it creates a double bottom like that. And then scenario 2 is it falls under $33 with candle close confirmation. And then who knows what could be next. There's no support under $33. So this is the make or break area for Vroom. We'll see. There is no divergence on the 4-hour, and there is no divergence on the daily. So yeah, $33, super simple. Fall under it with confirmation, and you're probably going to see lower prices. I mean, you're obviously going to see lower prices, but if you could bounce off of it, you could create a double bottom, which could be a long-term reversal pattern. It's just way too early to call that on Vroom. Oh yeah, we were going to look at DDOG. So let's see what's up with that. Dude, these songs, man, some of them are just so bad. It's like a random playlist I found on Spotify. I don't know how I feel about D-Dog. I mean, you know, a lot of big institutions and stuff like Datadog, a lot of institutional buying over the course of the year, had a crazy run. Your resistance is like, I'm going to be a little bit conservative, so I'm going to say your resistance is pretty much like $100. If you can break $100, you can see much higher prices. And then your support is also pretty simple. Again, I'm not saying that this is an ascending triangle because it's not. I'm just showing you what the support looks like, right? So that would be your support. This is not an ascending triangle. I'm not saying that. But you have an upsloping support line, and then you have a horizontal resistance line. It's not an ascending triangle because you don't have like 3 or 4 touches on $100. So yeah, your support is this upsloping yellow line, and your resistance is pretty much $100, give or take. No divergence on the 4-hour, and no divergence on the daily. So that is it. That is Datadog. I have my Call of Duty League opening tonight, so I'm gonna be pretty busy for the rest of the night, which is why I went earlier. I went live earlier today, but I also have to leave a little bit earlier today. I hope everybody has a good night. I hope everybody has some good trades tomorrow. I will be back, you know, posting in the morning. We'll be giving updates, and if I see something good, I'll be putting it out on Twitter. So follow me there to, you know, be in the loop and stuff like that. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for the 40 likes and the donations. It was a great week of streaming, aside from yesterday where we had a lot of technical difficulties. But yeah, that's going to do it. See you guys probably Sunday night. Again, I mainly stream on weekdays, but I go live on Sunday nights as well. But yeah, have a great weekend. I'll be seeing most of you on Twitter tomorrow as well. And peace out, Borge, Al, Steve, Artist, Fear, Jordan, Cardiac, David. See you guys later.